The ultimatum. The bridge of the TSV Dauntless hummed with tension as Captain Maya Chen stared at the holographic message hovering above the command console. Her dark eyes narrowed, reflecting the crimson glow of the ultimatum that had arrived just moments ago. "They can't be serious," muttered Commander Raj Singh, her second in command, his voice barely audible over the subtle vibration of the ship's fusion engines. Maya said nothing, reading the message again. The Galactic Hegemony, the coalition of 23 alien species that controlled most of known space, had delivered their terms with cold precision. Earth and its colonies must surrender all faster-than-light technology and cease expansion beyond their current 17 worlds, or face immediate military action. The hegemony had given humanity 7 standard days to comply. "They're deadly serious," Maya finally replied, her voice calm despite the gravity of the situation. At 42, she'd spent nearly 2 decades commanding Terran ships along the frontier, mapping new star systems, and protecting human interests. The Dauntless, a Pathfinder-class exploration vessel with considerable defensive capabilities, had been her home for the past 5 years. The question is, why now? After centuries of treating us like barely tolerated newcomers, why are they suddenly so afraid? "Because we're advancing too quickly," said Dr. Eliza Okafor, the ship's xenoanthropologist, who had been silently analyzing the message. Her tall frame leaned against a nearby console, dark fingers tracing patterns in the air as she organized her thoughts. "Look at this phrasing. They call our breakthroughs destabilizing to the cosmic balance. This isn't about territory or resources. It's about fear." Maya nodded slowly. Humanity had spent centuries developing their current technologies, working around the limitations and regulations the hegemony had imposed. The recent breakthroughs in quantum folding propulsion had finally given Earth ships ranges comparable to hegemony vessels, without relying on the alien-controlled gateway network. "This ultimatum goes to all colonial governors and fleet commanders," Maya said, flicking the hologram to display the distribution list. "Earth Command must have received it simultaneously. Orders will follow." As if on cue, a priority transmission from Terra Fleet Command materialized beside the ultimatum. Maya authorized the decryption with her neural implant, and Admiral Helena Kasparov's weathered face appeared. "Captain Chen, I'll be brief. The Security Council is divided on how to respond to the hegemony's demands. Half want to negotiate terms. The others refuse to surrender our independence. While they debate, we're deploying assets strategically. Your new orders: proceed to the outer colonies, beginning with Proxima, then Centauri, New Eden, and Nova Terra. Assess their defensive capabilities and readiness. Then contact the independent human settlements in the drift. We need to know where everyone stands if this turns ugly." Admiral Kasparov's expression hardened. "The Dauntless has our newest shielding and sensor arrays. You're authorized to access Protocol Omega if necessary." Kasparov out. The transmission ended, leaving Maya momentarily speechless. Protocol Omega was a hypothetical last resort scenario, something discussed in closed-door sessions, but never officially acknowledged. That the Admiral would mention it now spoke volumes about the severity of the situation. "Navigation, plot a course for Proxima Colony," Maya ordered, her decision made. "Maximum speed once we're beyond Jupiter's orbit." As the Dauntless broke orbit from Earth's Lagrange shipyards, Maya gathered her senior staff in the briefing room. The tension was palpable as she outlined their mission and the potential consequences. "The hegemony has always controlled humanity's expansion," she explained, projecting a map of known space, with human territories highlighted in blue. Tiny islands in a vast sea of hegemony-controlled systems shown in red. "They claim it's for stability, to prevent interspecies conflicts over resources. For 300 years, we've played by their rules. And in return, they'd blocked our every attempt to establish relationships with other species," added Lieutenant Commander Zhou Wu, head of communications. "Every trade agreement, cultural exchange, or alliance we've tried to forge has been mysteriously derailed." "They've kept us isolated," Maya agreed. And now that we've developed technology that gives us true independence, technology they can't control, they're showing their true colors. The Dauntless reached Proxima Colony 3 days later, finding the orbital platforms on high alert. Governor Adebayo had already begun evacuating non-essential personnel to subterranean shelters. Similar scenes played out across the Alpha Centauri system, where the 3 habitable planets have been humanity's first extrasolar colonies. On New Eden, the 4th colony they visited, Maya received an urgent message from Dr. Marcus Webb, an archaeologist working at a remote dig site on the planet's southern continent. His transmission was fragmented, but his excitement came through clearly. "Captain, you need to see this immediately. We found something. Changes everything we thought we knew about humanity's place in the galaxy." The Dauntless diverted to the coordinates Webb provided, landing near an excavation site nestled between towering cliff faces of striated red stone. Maya led a small team, including Dr. Okafor, to the site, where they were met by Webb, his clothes dusty and his eyes wild with excitement. 3 days ago, a seismic survey revealed a hollow space beneath this ridge, he explained, leading them into a narrow crevice that opened into a vast underground chamber. "We thought it might be a natural cave system, but then..." The chamber expanded before them, illuminated by floating light panels the archaeological team had deployed. Maya stopped in her tracks. The walls were covered with intricate inscriptions and diagrams, and at the center stood what appeared to be control consoles arranged around a raised platform. "This isn't alien construction," Webb said, his voice hushed with reverence. "These are human designs, Captain. Ancient human designs, over 15,000 years old." "Impossible," Maya breathed, but even as she said it, she recognized the ergonomics of the consoles, clearly meant for human hands and human proportions. "The language encoded in these symbols," Dr. Okafor said, approaching one wall with wonder, "it's proto-human. Root structures that evolved into Indo-European and Sino-Tibetan language families. This was built by our ancestors." Webb nodded eagerly. "And that's not all." He led them to a wall where a display screen still functioned, glowing with a soft blue light. "We've managed to access some of the historical records stored here. Humanity wasn't always confined to Earth, Captain. We once had a vast interstellar civilization." The screen displayed star maps showing hundreds of systems, many marked with what appeared to be human outposts or colonies. "And the hegemony." Webb's voice dropped lower. "They weren't our superiors or benevolent guides. According to these records, they were our enemies." Over the next hours, Maya and her team reviewed the evidence Webb had uncovered. The ancient facility contained detailed records of a war between early humans and what would later become the hegemony. Humanity had been technologically superior, but vastly outnumbered. The conflict had ended with the deployment of a weapon the records called the Great Diminishing, a device that had somehow reset human civilization, wiping collective memory and technological knowledge. "They didn't discover Earth," Dr. Okafor concluded, her voice shaking with anger. "They conquered it. They reduced us to primitive hunter-gatherers, quarantined our world, and have been carefully managing our development ever since. That explains why they're so alarmed by our recent progress," Commander Singh said. "We're starting to reclaim technology similar to what we once possessed, technology they fear." Maya stood in silence before the ancient control platform, her mind racing. If what they'd discovered was true, the hegemony's ultimatum wasn't about maintaining peace. It was about preventing humans from reclaiming their rightful place among the stars. "Dr. Webb, can any of this technology be reverse engineered?" she asked, gesturing to the ancient consoles. "Some of it already has been," Webb replied, leading them to a side chamber where his team had been working. "This device appears to be a prototype for a quantum communication system far more advanced than anything we currently possess. It operates outside the standard subspace frequencies the hegemony monitors." Maya made her decision. "We're taking this evidence to all human colonies. The Dauntless has quantum-secure communication arrays that can transmit this data without hegemony interception." She turned to Commander Singh. "Contact Earth. Inform Admiral Kasparov. We're initiating Protocol Omega." Within hours, the Dauntless was in orbit, transmitting Webb's discoveries to Earth and all human colonies simultaneously. Maya recorded her own message to accompany the evidence. "Fellow citizens of Earth and her colonies," she began, her face set with determination. "What you're about to see will change our understanding of humanity's place in the galaxy. We were never newcomers. We were never less advanced. We were victims of the greatest theft in history, the theft of our civilization, our technology, and our rightful future among the stars." As the transmissions went out, Maya ordered a course for Nova Terra, the furthest human colony and home to Earth's largest shipyards outside the Sol system. The hegemony ultimatum's deadline was approaching, and humanity would need to stand united for what came next. "They think they're dealing with a minor species barely worth their notice," Maya said to her crew as the Dauntless prepared to jump. "It's time to show them how wrong they are." The ship vanished into the quantum fold, leaving New Eden behind, but carrying with it the seeds of humanity's awakening. The Defiance. Nova Terra's orbital shipyards swarmed with activity as the Dauntless emerged from quantum space. Maya counted at least 30 vessels in various stages of completion, far more than should have been possible in the 3 weeks since she'd departed Earth. Something had changed. "Captain, we're being hailed by the Nova Terra Defense Command," Lieutenant Commander Wu reported. "It's Admiral Kasparov." Maya's eyebrows rose in surprise. The Admiral should have been on Earth, coordinating the Terran fleet's response to the hegemony ultimatum. Her presence here, at humanity's most distant colony, suggested plans were already in motion. "Put her through," Maya ordered, straightening her uniform. Admiral Kasparov's face appeared on the main view screen, the stars of Nova Terra visible through a viewport behind her. "Captain Chen, your timing is excellent. The evidence you transmitted from New Eden has changed everything." The Security Council vote was unanimous. Humanity rejects the hegemony's ultimatum. Maya felt a mixture of relief and apprehension. "The deadline expires in less than 30 hours, Admiral." "Which is why I'm here," Kasparov replied. "Operation Lazarus is now active. Report to Orbital Platform Alpha for immediate briefing." 2 hours later, Maya stood in a secure command center deep within Nova Terra's military headquarters, surrounded by holographic displays showing real-time updates from across human space. Admiral Kasparov had gathered the commanders of 20 Terran vessels, the most advanced ships in humanity's fleet. The archaeological discoveries on New Eden confirmed what some of us have suspected for decades. Kasparov began, her voice resonating through the chamber. "The hegemony has been systematically suppressing human development, ensuring we would never reclaim our former capabilities." She gestured, and the central hologram displayed a complex network of points across human space. "For the past 15 years, under the guise of routine infrastructure projects, we've been building a hidden defense grid. Quantum communication relays, automated defense platforms, and emergency shelters, all designed to operate independently if the hegemony ever attacked." Maya studied the display, recognizing the strategic pattern. "You expected this confrontation. We hoped to avoid it," Kasparov corrected. "But yes, we prepared for it. What we didn't expect was the discovery of our true history, which accelerates our timeline considerably." Commander Lion Park, captain of the battlecruiser Sovereign, leaned forward. "Admiral, even with these preparations, the hegemony outnumbers us hundreds to one. Their technology is based on principles we once mastered," interrupted Dr. Kenzo Nakamura, Earth's leading physicist, who had been quietly observing from the side. "The New Eden facility contained more than historical records, Captain Park. It held technological blueprints, specifically designs for defensive systems far beyond our current capabilities." He activated a separate display showing schematics for what appeared to be a shield generator. "This quantum displacement shield doesn't just block energy weapons, it redirects them through microfolded space. We've already implemented prototype versions on 6 orbital platforms. Maya felt a surge of hope. If humanity could reclaim even a fraction of its lost technology in time, they might stand a chance. The hegemony will expect us to concentrate our forces to defend Earth, Admiral Kasparov continued. Instead, we're dispersing. Captain Chen, your discovery of the ancient facility makes the Dauntless a primary target. You'll rendezvous with the Aurora and Hyperion at these coordinates. She transmitted the data directly to Maya's neural implant. Your mission is to protect Dr. Webb and his team while they continue deciphering the New Eden archives. As the briefing concluded, Maya prepared to return to her ship when Admiral Kasparov pulled her aside. There's something else you should know, Captain, the Admiral said quietly. We've been monitoring unusual energy signatures from several supposedly uninhabited systems along the drift. The patterns match those described in the New Eden records, quantum signatures from ancient human outposts. Maya's breath caught. You think there are more facilities like the one on New Eden? Perhaps more than facilities, Kasparov replied. The records suggested some humans escaped the Great Diminishing. Their descendants might still exist, hidden beyond hegemony space. Before Maya could process this revelation, alarms blared throughout the command center. A communications officer's voice cut through the chaos. Multiple hegemony warships just emerged from FTL at the edge of the system. They're broadcasting on all frequencies. The main display flickered, revealing the scaled face of High Marshal Vexer of the Hegemony Defense Force. His vertical pupils narrowed as he spoke, mandibles clicking with barely contained anger. Humans of Terra, your time to comply with our reasonable demands has expired. Your recent archaeological activities on Colony World Designate Northeast 7 constitute a severe violation of galactic security protocols. Surrender the facility, all derived technologies, and responsible personnel immediately, or face the consequences of your defiance. Admiral Kasparov stepped forward, her face betraying no fear as she responded. High Marshal Vexer, Earth and her colonies reject your ultimatum. The technologies you demand we surrender are humanity's birthright, developed by our ancestors before your hegemony stole our history and reset our civilization. We will not be subjugated again. Vexer's scales flushed a deeper shade of crimson. So the primitives have found fragments of their past. It changes nothing. Your species was deemed too aggressive, too expansionist to be allowed free development. That judgment stands. Prepare for correction. The transmission cut abruptly, and tactical displays showed the hegemony fleet deploying into attack formation. 15 capital ships with numerous support vessels. All ships, battle stations, ordered Admiral Kasparov calmly. Initiate Lazarus Protocol. Throughout Novaterra's orbital infrastructure, hidden defense systems activated. Platforms that had appeared to be standard communication arrays transformed, revealing weapon emplacements and shield generators. Beneath the planet's surface, massive power plants that had been disguised as mining operations surged to life, channeling energy to the orbital grid. Maya raced back to the Dauntless, her crew already at battle stations when she reached the bridge. Status report, she demanded, taking her command chair. Hegemony forces are deploying in standard pincer formation, reported Lieutenant Commander Takai, the tactical officer. They're focusing on the shipyards and orbital platforms. No ground assault preparations detected yet. They think this will be quick, Maya observed. They don't expect serious resistance. The first hegemony salvos struck Novaterra's outermost defense platforms, energy weapons designed to overwhelm standard shields and disable communication arrays. But instead of exploding, the platforms absorbed the attacks, their newly installed quantum displacement shields redirecting the energy harmlessly into space. For several seconds, the hegemony fleet paused, clearly surprised by the lack of damage. They recalibrated and fired again, this time with heavier weapons. Now, ordered Admiral Kasparov from her command ship. Across the Novaterra system, hidden Terran vessels emerged from concealment behind moons, within asteroid fields, and from the shadows of the gas giants' rings. Not the handful of ships the hegemony expected, but over 60 vessels, the result of years of secret construction and preparation. The Dauntless moved into position alongside the Aurora and Hyperion, forming a defensive triangle around the science vessel carrying Dr. Webb and his team. Their mission was clear: protect the scientists at all costs and ensure they escaped if the battle turned against humanity. The hegemony forces, momentarily confused by the unexpected resistance, quickly regrouped and pressed their attack. Despite being outnumbered, they held technological advantages developed over millennia of dominance. Or so they thought. Target their command vessel, Maya ordered as the Dauntless engaged a hegemony cruiser. Quantum torpedoes, full spread. The weapons, developed based on principles rediscovered in the New Eden facility, phased partially out of normal space as they accelerated, making them nearly impossible to track or intercept. They rematerialized inside the hegemony vessel's shields, detonating with devastating effect. Similar scenes played out across the battlefield as human ships deployed technologies reverse-engineered from their ancient past. Not all were successful. 3 Terran vessels were destroyed in the first wave of fighting, their experimental systems failing under combat conditions. But the hegemony forces, expecting an easy victory, found themselves in a genuine battle. Admiral Kasparov's flagship, the Resolute, engaged directly with High Marshal Vexer's command vessel. The 2 ships exchanged devastating barrages, shields flaring with each impact. When a lucky shot from a hegemony destroyer disabled the Resolute's main engines, it seemed the tide might turn. Maya saw her opportunity. "All power to quantum drives," she ordered. "Micro-jump to these coordinates." The Dauntless vanished in a flash of blue-white energy, reappearing directly behind Vexer's flagship in a maneuver that should have been impossible according to known physics. Before the hegemony vessel could react, Maya's ship unleashed its full weapons array against the flagship's vulnerable engine section. "Direct hit," reported Commander Takai. "Their primary power core is destabilizing." Throughout the system, the battle raged for hours, humanity's determination and recovered technology balancing against the hegemony's superior numbers and experience. Just when it seemed the human forces might prevail, sensors detected a new wave of hegemony reinforcements arriving at the system's edge. Too many to defeat. Admiral Kasparov's voice came through on a secure channel. "Captain Chen, Operation Lazarus, final phase. Get Dr. Webb and the data to the coordinates I've transmitted. The rest of us will cover your withdrawal." "Admiral," Maya began to protest. "That's an order, Captain," Kasparov interrupted firmly. "What you're carrying is more important than any single battle." With a heavy heart, Maya complied, signaling the Aurora and Hyperion to form up around the science vessel. As they prepared to jump to the mysterious coordinates, the hegemony reinforcements arrived in system, only to face an unexpected threat. From behind Novaterra's moon, a new vessel appeared, unlike any ship in the Terran fleet, massive and elegant, with flowing lines that seemed to bend light around its hull. It moved with impossible grace for its size. "Captain," whispered Commander Singh, "that design matches the ship schematics from the New Eden archives." Before anyone could respond, the unknown vessel emitted a pulse of energy that rippled across space. Every hegemony ship it touched simply went dark, their systems shutting down simultaneously. In the sudden silence that followed, communications from the mysterious vessel reached all remaining ships in the system. "Children of Earth," came a voice that sounded human yet somehow ancient, "you have remembered your heritage at last. The reclamation begins today." The vessel transmitted coordinates, the same ones Admiral Kasparov had given Maya. "All human vessels," the voice continued, "follow us home." As the Dauntless and its escort prepared to jump, Maya received one final transmission from Admiral Kasparov, her ship damaged but intact. "It seems," the Admiral said with a smile of wonder, "that Operation Lazarus was more aptly named than we realized. Some of us never die out after all." The Dauntless entered the quantum fold, following the ancient human vessel toward coordinates in uncharted space. toward the remnants of humanity that had escaped the Great Diminishing 15 millennia ago. Behind them, the disabled hegemony fleet drifted powerless, while Nova Terra stood unbroken, the first world to successfully defy the galactic hegemony. Maya looked at the star chart showing their destination, a system far beyond hegemony-controlled space. Whatever awaited them there, lost technology, forgotten cousins, or something else entirely. One thing was certain: humanity would never again surrender its destiny to others. The age of submission was over. The era of reclamation had begun.